Hello and welcome to the show. This is the Sales for the Nigerian Business Person podcast. It's available on Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple iTunes, or any podcast player of your choice. So subscribe for free once you're done listening to the episode and remember to give me a 5-star review. Before we begin, apologies because I'm not in my dedicated recording space. I am out and about, so expect to hear the noises of cars in the background, people having conversations, and those sorts of things. But I figured I'd just go ahead and make the episode for today because I think I'm 2 or maybe 3 days behind on the regular schedule. So I'll just go back to getting these episodes done whenever and wherever I can get to it. So today on the show, the topic is we have an audience question from Neo Chando. Forgive me if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. So, the question is, what is the link between personal selling and the market? Now, this is a very important question because it's another way of examining how personal selling gets your goods or gets your services into the hands of your customers. Now, first off, what is the market? Because that's a key component of the question. What is the link between personal selling and the market? So, the market is your potential audience, whether in your city or in your state, your locale, or your little corner of the internet, wherever it is that you operate. So, for the purposes of this question, that is what we refer to as the market. Now, what is personal selling? For those of you who've been listening to the show for the last over 700 episodes and 3 years, you already know what it is. But for the newbies and also for Neo Chando, just in case I didn't explain personal selling correctly at the time when Neo and you, the new listener, getting exposed to these ideas, personal selling is any form of one-to-one communications that is intended to get the sale when you are faced with a potential customer. So now let me repeat. The two key, what will I say? The two key features of personal selling are this. Number one, it is one-to-one communication. So that is me talking to someone that's face-to-face in the office, in the home, over text message, over email. But the key thing, it is one-to-one. I know it is one-to-one, and the person on the receiving end also knows that it is one-to-one. So if it's a broadcast message, that is not personal selling because you know that it's not one-to-one. The person on the receiving end knows that it's not one-to-one. And so that's the reason why, even though, in Nigeria anyway, the banks that we have, they try to be all personal, send us birthday messages, use our names in email and stuff like that. But you see the email, and even though it has your name correctly, dear Mr. So and so, you know that this is something that they broadcast to the 50,000 or 50 million customers that they already have in Nigeria or over the continent. And so you know that even though they try to make it personal, it's not personal. So people try their best to personalize communications these days, but nobody can be tricked. If it's not one-to-one, people know. So that's the key feature: personal selling, one-to-one. And then number two, it's usually intended to get people to move things along towards becoming a customer. So if you're solving customer service problems, yes, you're using personal selling skills, but maybe it's not personal selling per se. So when you put out stuff on Instagram or on Facebook, you put up on your post, you're advertising, things like that. Is that personal selling? The answer is no, because this is one to many. This is communications that is being broadcast towards lots of people. So specifically, if it's Instagram, you're boosting an Instagram post or you're promoting a Facebook post or things like that, the closest thing to that would be considered advertising. So that kind of activity, that's advertising, that is not personal selling. Now, if you have a store and you have a store attendant or a clerk, and so people come there and they start asking the clerk questions. Oh, young man, I'd like to buy this in brown or in red or in pink. Do you have this? Do you have that? So they're asking your attendant or your clerk questions. Yes, that is personal selling because the store attendant right now is locked eyes on this particular person to try and solve this particular person's problem so that this person can buy a bag or a shoe or something else. So that is personal selling. If you're a customer service phone operator, somebody calls in, they're angry, my delivery has not come, blah, blah, blah. You guys are a horrible business. My bank account has been debited twice, blah, blah, blah. All those things that people do when they hitch up your customer service people. Is that personal selling? Well, like I said, yes, personal selling skills are required to solve the problem. The customer service operator has to be real. Well, they have to know your internal policies. They need to know the product or the service that is being complained about. They need to be able to think quickly on their feet to solve the problem, and they're trying to keep the person as a customer, so that the person makes repeat purchases. So yes, in a sense, personal selling skills are required, but maybe that is not personal selling per se. Then let's say we have an insurance salesperson or a beauty or makeup salesperson coming into your office, coming into your house, coming into your church. Okay, no, not church, because if they're coming into your church, they'll be making a public presentation. So, an insurance person or a makeup salesperson coming and making a presentation, no, that's not personal selling. But after they make the presentation, let's say they come into church and they're making a presentation, a beauty skincare person, and they're making a presentation to new mothers that, okay, you're a new mother, you've been breastfeeding, you want to do 6 months exclusive, but then now you're having tummy stretch marks or you're having breast stretch marks or something like that. And that's the whole point of the presentation. And then they say, after the presentation, meet me at the back of the church hall if you have any questions. And then people walk up and they say, they come and meet the person to say, okay, yes, I'm having stretch marks here, I'm having this problem, I'm having postpartum this and this and this. And then the person starts talking about engaging in a one-on-one conversation about how this cream can solve this problem, about how this tablet can solve this or whatever. Now that is personal selling. And also the earlier example that I gave with an insurance salesperson. So if you tell the insurance salesperson, yeah, come to my office, let's discuss life insurance, let's discuss car insurance, then that is personal selling. Now, a marketer who is handing out flyers at the mall, is that personal selling? Maybe not, because, well, yes, you need to use personal selling skills to get the conversation going. That's for those who actually want to engage in a conversation, because a lot of these people just hand out the flyers and move along, but some people try to engage you in a conversation. So people who try to engage you, yes, are using personal selling skills. Although traditionally, this kind of behavior, handing out flyers at the mall, handing out flyers in traffic, is usually regarded as canvassing. Now, the reason why I'm giving all of these examples is because, just in case I'm catching another newbie here today, I wouldn't want to leave the person confused, like I obviously left Neo Chando confused about what personal selling is. So that is why I ran through all these made up scenarios, just so that you can understand. Now, what is the relationship between personal selling and the market? Personal selling is just another thing in the toolbox that you have for fulfilling the marketing function of your business. Now, for those of you who've been listening from day one, you remember that I've been harping on and on and on because I'm a disciple of Peter Drucker. Yeah, that's his name. American business consultant Peter Drucker. Now, Peter Drucker says that the business has two main functions. Number one, innovation, and then number two, marketing. Now, I am not going to go into the innovation thing because there are lots of people who talk about innovation and strategy and things like that in business. So I limit myself only to the marketing function on this podcast. Now, the marketing function is the part of the business that creates the customer, that creates demand, and that makes sure that there are people who are hungry for our product or service. Because if there's nobody hungry for our product or service, then what we have is just an expensive hobby. What we have is just an expensive hobby. Now, the example that I give a lot on this podcast is wedding photography. Not because everybody's a wedding photographer, but that's because it's where I started, and it's a very apt example. So you go, you book a studio space, you buy 2 or 3 cameras, you buy the umbrellas, you buy the diffusers. Let's see, what else? What else do you buy? You buy batteries, you buy connecting cables, you buy hard drives, you buy all this expensive equipment. Now, if you buy all these things and you put them at home and you don't properly exercise your marketing function, you don't create demand, you don't create a customer, then what you have is an expensive hobby. Because you have all these things there, once in a while you take pictures of your wife, your boyfriend, your kids, whoever, but you're not bringing in any money. So it's a hobby that has just cost you millions and millions of naira. Because right now, with the current economic landscape in Nigeria, buying all those things actually would amount to a cool million. So let's say you want to get a good camera or something that is the latest model or whatever. You want to buy two of them. Each one will probably set you about 350,000 to maybe 500,000 for one. So you buy two of those already, and you're already close to a million. So you get my point. So the marketing function, in my own opinion, is one of the most important functions in the business. So we have to get that locked down. So back to the question, the relationship between personal selling and the market. Now, personal selling is part of the marketing function overall. Now, the marketing function is fulfilled or exercised by doing two main things. Number one, the marketing function, we are trying to create awareness. Creating awareness is important because nobody can buy from you until they know you, they like you, and they trust you. So they have to know who you are in the first place before they like you and they trust you, before you start having one-on-one conversations. You can have one-on-one conversations without creating awareness, yes, but then that kind of sale is much more difficult. So Coca-Cola, yes, tons of awareness in the market. So if I'm a Coca-Cola distributor and I drive with my truck or with my lorry into somebody's business premises to start the conversation about how they can stock Coca-Cola, it's going to be an easier conversation than if I am a market distributor and I sell Tavishima Cola. Yes, let's say I've manufactured my own my own cola drink, Tavishima Coca-Cola. Now, the sale for Tavishima Cola is going to be a lot more difficult because there's no awareness, there's no brand affinity. Folks don't like me, they don't know me. Does that mean I won't be able to close the deal? No, the deal can be closed. It just means that I'm going to have to work extremely hard. Well, okay, not extremely. I'm going to have to work much more harder than if I was selling Coca-Cola products because everybody, at least in Nigeria, everybody knows Nigerian Bottling is it Nigerian Bottling Company, Nigerian Brewery, I can't remember anyway, NBC, I think they're NBC. Everybody knows Coke, everybody knows Fanta. So, the marketing function, number one, create awareness. Now, number two, and this is where personal selling ties in, the marketing function is also fulfilled by doing conversion activities. Now, conversion is whatever it is that you do that gets people to take action on specific initiatives. So, number one, create awareness. Make the noise on TV, on radio, in church, on the bulletin, in the flyer, the whatever. Let people know you. Then number two is conversion. You need to get people to do something. Because if you put your flyers everywhere and everybody knows that you're in business as a wedding photographer or as an insurance salesperson or as a soft drink distributor, but you don't get people to take action on anything, then you've just wasted a lot of money. So you create awareness, but then you get people to do something next. So the creating awareness function, that is what people do by advertising, by branding, by public relations, different kinds of publicity stunts, content marketing. Obviously, this podcast is part of content marketing because it's showcasing thought leadership and expertise and things like that. So that's part of the creating awareness bit. Now, conversion or getting people to take action, that is exercised through different ways. Number one, copywriting. When I say number one, I don't mean it's the most important. I'm just giving examples. So copywriting. Copywriting is what people call salesmanship in print. That is when you write really compelling stuff in the newspaper. Yes, in this part of the world in Nigeria, lots of people still read newspapers. So maybe those of you in America or the United Kingdom might not be able to relate. Probably Germany. Where else do I have listeners? Netherlands. Maybe you guys are not newspaper people anymore. But in this part of the world, people still read newspapers. So copywriting, using sales skills in print, getting people to call you to buy now or to do something. So in the newspaper or the words you use on your website or what you use in your email when you want people to take the next step. So that is copywriting. Salesmanship in print. That's a short form way of, that's just an easy way for how people define copywriting. So that's it. Then number two, there is direct marketing. Now, direct marketing is almost like advertising. That's putting out things on the TV, on the radio, or whatever it is you do. But direct marketing usually has a prompt for you to take immediate action, which is why it is called direct marketing, because They want you to do something directly right now. So that is all the stuff that you see in newspaper, websites, TV, radio, whatever. And at the end of it, they say buy now. See, they want you to take action. It's not like a Coca-Cola advertisement where it says, okay, well, I don't know what the current Coca-Cola slang, sorry, not slang, what's it called? Caption, advertising caption. Well, back when I was a kid, it was Coca-Cola is it. There was Coca-Cola is it. There was Coca-Cola for the world. There was Coca-Cola for I can't remember anyway. But you get the point. Coca-Cola is it. Okay, that just shows you that there's Coca-Cola, but they're not asking you to buy now. Coca-Cola for the world. It shows that they like to bring joy, peace, and happiness to the whole world, but they're not exactly asking you to buy now. If you look at Mercedes-Benz and BMW, all the stuff that they put out there, they don't do direct marketing. They just show the car driving into the sunset, dramatic lighting, Mercedes-Benz, blah blah blah, BMW, finest in engineering, those sorts of things. But they're not asking you to buy now. That is just advertising. They're just creating awareness, trying to create some brand affinity. But when you have something up there and at the end of everything it says buy now, that is direct marketing. The advertising runs all the way through, and at the end, there's a call to action. It says subscribe now. That is direct marketing. Or it says call this, that to book your slot. That is direct marketing. It's really popular here in Nigeria on radio shows. People talk about their product and then they say, if you're interested, call blah 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 to book now, or email xyz.com to enjoy your 20% discount now. So you get the point. Direct marketing. Then there is personal selling, which is where you are face to face with one particular person. The owner of the business is face to face with someone, or the employee of the business is face to face with someone, and they're having a conversation with one particular person, and the hope is that the person is going to become a buyer. The person will become interested in something. The person will want to own something, want to purchase something, will want to solve a particular problem. Let's say back to that example that I gave of nursing mothers and stretch marks on their back or stretch marks on their breast or postpartum issues, things like that. So you're hoping to get the person to buy and to enter into the relationship as a customer. So that is personal selling. Now, the conversion function, getting people to take action, getting people to be a customer, whatever it is, that can be exercised different ways. This episode is not meant to be exhaustive and teach you everything. It's just meant to show, just to get you more comfortable with what personal selling is. So that when you hear me talking about personal selling on a future episode, you know what I'm talking about. Or if you are in part of my live training sessions, then you get the gist of what is I'm trying to say. So, Neo Chando, sorry again if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. I hope this clears things up. So if you are a previous seminar attendee or listener to a show, you've run into me somewhere, there's something that I said at the time, you thought it made sense, you go back home to your office or whatever, and then you thought about it and you're like, okay, I'm not sure exactly what he meant. That's not a problem. Hit me up on socials for a chance to get your questions featured on the podcast and to get your questions answered once and for all. So that is all for today, folks. If you love what you've been hearing on the podcast, then hit me up on 080-6466-2140. Yes, that is me trying to use direct marketing principles to get you guys to take action, because I want you guys to call me. I want you guys to send me an SMS, send me a WhatsApp, send me a Telegram, and that's because we have coaching and consulting services available, which includes e-commerce solutions. That's to help those of you who have websites, online presence, Instagram, whatever it is. Let's help you optimize your online presence and your sales tactics so that we can figure out the conversion channels. Remember, we spoke about conversion. If you're having 100,000 people come to your website and nobody buys, that's a big problem. If you have 5 million followers on Instagram but nobody's buying, that is a problem. So these are the sorts of problems that I can solve, me and my associates at Aberdeen Business Consulting. So also you can connect with me on LinkedIn or any social media of your choice. LinkedIn because that's where I spend most of my time, but I'm available everywhere else except Twitter. I've been banned from Twitter or X. No need to worry about my name. The spelling of my name, Tavishima Ayede. You can confirm that and my email address from the website where you're listening to this episode or the profile of the podcast app where you're currently listening to my voice. So that's it for today, folks. Thanks for your time and attention. I think I'll devote the next 4 or 5 episodes to sorting out audience questions because the list is growing. I don't know how I lost track of it, but I had to look at my screenshots and scatter things I have here and there, and I think I should have maybe about 20 or 30 of these. So let me get on them. Let's see how we can reduce them. Yeah, so that's it. Thanks for your time and attention. I'll catch you guys at the next episode.